Good day everybody, TheSuffolkRam here from Nerds. Welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 12, Episode 4, Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. There may be some smart spoilers ahead, so if anything's spoiled, turn off now. So, this episode takes place around about the end of the 19th century, sort of starting stage of the current wars, or what would become the current wars, involving, Tesla and Edison, where they basically having their big debate over what's better. Edison pushing towards DC current, Tesla pushing towards AC current, and what's better for sending power long distance and what is a better power source. As we know from modern days, AC eventually run out, and we use everything AC and everything because it's got some advantages, but not. This isn't a view of why one's better than the other. But despite the fact there's a war going on, there is a alien involvement who are watching the inventors and trying to get involved and deal with it. It's a lot better paced, this episode. It makes a lot more sense and it flows a lot better compared to last week's. And it's just a nice sort of 3-act structure with a starting act that's all about this mystery of what's going on, investigation and so forth, and gradually building up. A middle act where they encounter the threat, they understand it, learn a bit about it, and a final act where they have to defeat the threat. It's a lot nicer pace and feels nice, logical. It feels almost like in 3 parts that work quite well. Has got some weird bits. I mean, early on there's Edison suffers an attack. It's never really made clear why that happened. Why he was pulled into it, apart from the fact they just wanted to get Edison involved with Nikola Tesla and wanted them in the same room for the sake of drama and humour and what have you. It just feels a bit weird why that happened. At least didn't sort of make sense to me why he would bother doing it. That's a lot better paces this week. I do feel that the characters are a bit left down the lurch bit. They are struggling with having the big group of characters. I always liked a big tier of people in the TARDIS. I've always preferred it when there's more companions. But maybe 3 actually was a bit too many. I think they struggle to find stuff for everybody to do in a 50-minute episode. And it always feels like every series, one character gets pulled to the front and another gets pushed right to the background. And this week felt that Ryan was being pushed a lot to the background and not being sort of that as involved, to the point where it's like, why was he even there? This has a lot more involvement. This episode has a little showdown, has to deal a bit more, get more involved. And Graham's just Graham. So I think perhaps actually 3 people's perhaps now a bit too much. It works in 2-parters because they can split everybody up, but not so well in these 1-parters. So perhaps a full crew, and it's starting to come more and more. I've noticed more and more. The last 3 episodes, that seems to be more of an issue, but definitely a lot better compared to the previous episode. Well, that's not hard to do. Definitely not more enjoyable, and definitely a lot more enjoyable the way the Doctor solves the issue. It feels more like a Doctor Who resolution, where she uses a bit of cunning and thinking on her feet to defeat the monster of the week and finish them off and save the planet Earth. And it felt a lot more enjoyable in that respect. So yeah, I actually really quite enjoyed this episode. It's cast and crew as the main guys. I said Paul Ryan feels like he's been pushed to the background in this episode. But yeah, yes, we're very ingrained sometimes. But let's talk about the other sort of characters. So 2 main extra people, obviously Tesla and Edison. Tesla being played by Goran Visnjic. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. To be honest, I've not really heard much of him before. I don't really know much what he does. I know from my research he was in ER, which I know a series I've heard of but never ever watched, and he's in that quite big. So there's that. Thomas Edison is played by Robert Glessner, who I do have known a lot more. He was probably most well known from in the series Hustle, about a group of con artists. He played Ash Morgan in that. This is his 2nd time in Doctor Who. He was in the Cave at Androzari, which was the Peter Davison sort of final, as 5th Doctor Peter Davison. That was sort of his final serial he did, and Glessner was main character in that one. So he's got some previous Doctor Who experience, and so nicely about. But I quite like him as an actor. He's quite versatile. He seems to sort of get a bit. As long as people get everywhere, it's quite enjoyable. So on to production. So again, a mixture of practical CGI monsters this week. Most monsters being CGI with practical effects for like their disguised forms and the sort of queen of the monsters. She looks a bit like the Ragnos. I thought for a second she was the the Queen of Ragnos, and even from her mannerisms and style, felt very similar. Felt very straight, very like the same. I thought, well, I said I don't actually really Google what Ragnos looked like to make sure it wasn't the same person, but she isn't. They feel that quite early on that she wasn't. But I like it when they get these sort of hammy actors in these practical effects. Even if they don't look the best, they look good. It works better than CGI. I always feel it feels more practical CGI. The CGI ones themselves aren't bad. They do the usual run around. It's a TV show. What you can expect? They're not going to be great. And they've got sort of funny looking faces. They sort of look a bit. They do look a bit out. They look worldy but out of world at the same time. They're kind of alright. They're alright for TV show. They're absolutely fine. Written by notes here, Nina Mativa. This is her first Doctor Who episode. Directed by Nidia Manzoor. Also the first Doctor Who episode. However, those two have both worked on a series called Dixie, which I found out through my research. It's a series of something to do with social media, fighting injustice in schools. I've never heard of it till today. Never watched it. But I enjoyed the writing. I thought the episode was nicely written. I liked the pacing, so I enjoyed the writing. And I also felt it was very well paced, so from a direction point of view, I like both. So hopefully we'll see some more of them in the future. So final thoughts, this episode, I enjoyed it. I said it's definitely an improvement from last week's episode, and it's not quite so heavy hitting on sort of the moral stories and so forth. Where there's not really lots of what is the moral story, don't trust scorpions. It's far more enjoyable. I actually enjoyed this episode quite a lot. So much for watching. I've been TheSuffolkRam. If you enjoy this, would you please consider subscribing to the channel? We do mainly lots of other sort of video reviews and some thoughts on here. We used to do podcasts mainly as our next big thing. We did one last night, which you can check out tonight for bids. We discuss games and what have you, and have a bit of a laugh and so forth. If you've enjoyed this, I look forward to seeing you next time, where we get to see the Dradoon come back. Yay! I'm not going to try and do a Dradoon accent, that's not going to work. So, very much for watching. I've been TheSuffolkRam. I will look forward to seeing you next week.